The NSAS protest in Lagos started in early October, that's in 2020, with a clear aim to call for the dissolution of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, units of the Nigeria police tasked with fighting violent crimes. Now, the unit was better known among some Nigerians, young Nigerians, for its own brutality and criminality, including extortion, torture, and extrajudicial assaults and killings. Events of the 20th of October 2020 changed the narratives of a peaceful movement. Tempers were flared, police stations torched, while some officers were killed and injured. The trend of attacks on security operatives is now on the increase. Men of the armed forces, police, and Nigerian correctional facilities are not spared. And many worry that the continuous attack may not be unconnected to tensions between many young Nigerians and security agents, which snowballed into last year's protest, a first of its kind. Could the aftermath of the NSAS protest be blamed for this trend? Well, activist Rinu joins me to discuss these issues. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10, Ms. Odwala. Well, you played a prominent role during the NSAS protests last year, which championed the cause against police brutality and which ultimately culminated in the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And we know that in recent times, police officers themselves have actually become vulnerable with several attacks targeting them. In the past 1 week, for instance, about 5 of them have been killed, about 5 of their formations have been targeted, and several injuries also recorded. A school of thought believes that perpetrators have been emboldened by the activities last year. What is your take?
Thank you very much, TVC News. First and foremost, I'd like to say that violence can never be justified in any form. In any case, violence is a no-go area, and the attack on our policemen and our police stations should be condemned at its very worst. Now, I'd like to ask some questions. We had attacks in police headquarters, which led to inmates being released in southeastern Nigeria. A lot of attacks on Imo State Police Command, Anambra, and the other likes. It's now becoming like Southeast is Nigeria's new zone to instability. But let's ask ourselves, what are our police officers equipped with? Our police officers are inadequately trained. There is poor screening of police recruits. On the staff, on the front end, there's a lack of accountability by our rulers, which encourage lawlessness among government agents and among the citizens. The average Nigerian policeman is inadequately educated for the roles he's expected to play. The 5-for-5 demands that NSAS put out was to adequately compensate police officers, increase their salaries, organize psychological evaluation for these disbanded police officers so that they can be mentally stable for the role which they've been paid to play. And now our police officers now looking like gunmen are more equipped more than our police officers. What kind of sophisticated weapons did these criminals have that our police officers do not have? Our police officers are poorly remunerated and resented by the public. And I'd like to say it again, the fact that police reforms have not been effected in Nigeria will always lead to citizen to police hostility, whether we like to admit it or not. The average policeman cannot respond to a citizen cry for help, rather than they will say there's no fuel in their bus or there's no fuel in their van or something. There's an inadequacy of resources in the hands of our police, which lowers their estimation in the eyes of the public, and that emboldens criminals to actually attack police stations. And it was not the NSAS protest. It is because the Nigerian government has refused each and every time to adequately implement police reforms. That is why we see citizen to police hostility, and we see these criminals emboldened to attack police stations.
All right, Rinu Odwala is an NSAS protester. Thank you very much for your perspective on TVC News at 10.